Yang terhormat Menteri Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral. Yang kami hormati Direktur Jenderal Ketenagalistrikan selaku ASEAN SOE Leader Indonesia, Sekretaris Jenderal Kementerian Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral beserta seluruh pejabat pimpinan tinggi media di lingkungan Kementerian Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral. Deputi 1 Kantor Staf Kepresidenan atau yang mewakili. Direktur Jenderal Kerjasama ASEAN Kementerian Luar Negeri Republik Indonesia atau yang mewakili. Deputi Bidang Koordinasi Kerjasama Ekonomi Internasional, Kementerian Koordinator Bidang Perekonomian atau yang mewakili. Para Direktur Utama Badan Usaha Milik Negara. Para pejabat pimpinan tinggi Pratama di lingkungan Kementerian Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral. Para perwakilan organisasi internasional dan tamu undangan yang kami muliakan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera, salam kebajikan, namo buddhaya. Pertama-tama, marilah kita ucapkan puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, karena pada hari ini, Jumat 31 Maret 2023, kita dapat berkumpul bersama dalam kegiatan Kick-Off Keketuaan ASEAN di Sektor Energi tahun 2023. Untuk mengawali acara hari ini adalah menyanyikan lagu Kebangsaan Indonesia Raya. Hadirin dimohon berdiri. Hadirin, kami mohon duduk kembali. Hadirin, selanjutnya mari kita saksikan bersama pemutaran video opening kick-off Keketuaan ASEAN di Sektor Energi tahun 2023.
The opening ceremony of 2023 ASEAN Energy Chairmanship will be a starting point of Indonesia's effort to encourage more interconnectivity and create a more sustainable energy security in the ASEAN region. The interconnectivity will also improve regional energy supply chains, technology, knowledge, and expertise transfer among ASEAN member states. Increasing energy transfer through interconnectivity will maximize the utilization of renewable energy, reduce the dependency on fossil energy, and create a low-carbon energy system. Sustainable energy security through interconnectivity will accelerate the clean energy transitions and enhance energy security in the region. ASEAN Matters, epicentrum of growth.
Hadirin yang kami hormati, Acara selanjutnya adalah laporan dari Direktur Jenderal Ketenagalistrikan selaku ASEAN SOE Leader Indonesia. Kepada Bapak Jisman Hutajulu, kami silakan.
Terima kasih. Yang terhormat Bapak Menteri Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral, para pejabat eselon 1 di lingkungan Kementerian SDM, para uh, staf ahli, staf khusus dan tenaga ahli Menteri Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral, para perwakilan badan usaha dan organisasi internasional, Bapak Ibu peserta kick-off keketuaan ASEAN Sektor Energi tahun 2023. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Pertama, marilah kita panjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Kuasa, karena atas limpahan karunia dan rahmat-Nya, kita dapat berkumpul dalam acara kick-off keketuaan Indonesia di ASEAN pada sektor energi tahun 2023. Bapak Menteri yang kami hormati, izinkan kami laporkan beberapa hal terkait keketuaan Indonesia ASEAN untuk sektor energi tahun 2023 sebagai berikut. 1. Konferensi tingkat tinggi ASEAN di Phnom Penh pada bulan November 2022 lalu menjadi momen sejarah penerimaan keketuaan ASEAN dari Kamboja ke Indonesia. Namun untuk masa keketuaan Indonesia di bidang energi terdapat penyesuaian siklus. Saat ini keketuaan masih dipegang oleh Kamboja sejak Juni 2022 hingga Juni 2023. Sesuai dengan kesepakatan SOMEM 40 tahun 2022, sebagaimana juga telah dilaporkan pada AMEM 40 tahun 2022, masa keketuaan kerjasama sektor energi menyesuaikan dengan siklus keketuaan ASEAN secara nasional. Maka periode keketuaan Indonesia di bidang energi ASEAN menjadi Juni 2023 sampai dengan Desember 2023. Namun Indonesia sudah dapat memulai periode keketuaan lebih awal sesuai dengan kesepakatan bersama Kamboja pada pertemuan spesial SOM di bulan Januari 2023. Keketuaan Indonesia di ASEAN sektor energi mengusung prioritas yang mengakomodir 7 pilar utama kerjasama energi di ASEAN sesuai dengan ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation atau APAEC 2016-2025, yaitu ASEAN Power Grid, Trans-ASEAN Gas Pipeline, Coal and Clean Coal Technology, Energy Efficiency and Conservation, Renewable Energy, Regional Energy Policy and Planning, dan terakhir Civilian Nuclear Energy. Pada tahun ini, keketuaan ASEAN bertema ASEAN Matters Epicentrum of Growth dengan tekad untuk memperkuat kerjasama antara negara ASEAN dalam respon tantangan kawasan dan global untuk menciptakan ketahanan energi yang berkelanjutan melalui pengembangan energi bersih melalui interkonektivitas. Sebagai upaya menjawab tantangan tersebut, Indonesia mengajukan beberapa concrete outcomes, yaitu deklarasi bersama Menteri Energi ASEAN untuk mewujudkan interconnectivity yang juga menjadi priority economic deliverables Indonesia pada sektor energi. Selain itu, Indonesia juga menginisiasi pernyataan bersama Menteri Energi dari 4 negara, Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, dan Filipina, untuk mengintegrasikan proyek interkoneksi ketenagalistrikan, serta mendorong terbentuknya nota kesepahaman di antara badan usaha ketenagalistrikan untuk mengimplementasikan interkoneksi dimaksud. Dalam rangka mewujudkan concrete outcomes dan annual priorities Indonesia, kegiatan keketuaan Indonesia di ASEAN pada sektor energi akan didukung oleh sejumlah organisasi internasional melalui penyelenggaraan sejumlah event series yang akan dilaksanakan sepanjang tahun 2023. Bapak Menteri yang saya hormati, Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, Dapat kami laporkan juga bahwa pertemuan tingkat Menteri Energi ASEAN yang ke-41 akan berlangsung pada tanggal 24-25 Agustus 2023 di Bali. Secara paralel akan berlangsung ASEAN Energy Business Forum sebagai wadah para menteri energi ASEAN dan pelaku usaha untuk bertemu dan menjajaki peluang kerjasama. Pengesahan deklarasi dan pernyataan bersama Menteri Energi ASEAN akan menjadi highlight pada forum ASEAN Energy Business Forum dimaksud. Bapak Ibu peserta kick-off yang saya hormati, Bapak Menteri, kami berharap dengan seremonial ini menandai dimulainya seluruh aktivitas keketuaan Indonesia di ASEAN pada sektor energi di tahun 2023. Kami yakin kolaborasi yang baik antara seluruh stakeholder terkait dan organisasi internasional akan membantu menyukseskan seluruh rangkaian kegiatan dan mewujudkan keberlanjutan ketahanan energi di ASEAN. Demikian yang dapat kami sampaikan. Sekian dan terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Bapak Jisman Hutajulu. Hadirin yang kami muliakan, marilah kita saksikan video ucapan selamat dari organisasi internasional.
On behalf of the ASEAN Center for Energy, I sincerely congratulate Indonesia for holding and assuming the ASEAN Chairmanship this year. Most importantly, Indonesia once again raised the energy topic as one of its ASEAN priorities, adopting the sub-theme of sustainable energy security through interconnectivity, proving its strong commitment post-G20 energy agenda. As one of the region's larger economies and big energy players, we believe Indonesia is well positioned to bring ASEAN centrality in accelerating the energy transition towards security, sustainability, and resiliency through greater interconnectivity and fostering innovation and cooperation. We are confident that Indonesia will provide a significant impetus to enhance regional goals and cooperation aligned with the APEC Phase 2, 2021-2025, as we work towards achieving and increasing the ambitious regional target of renewable energy share 22% in ASEAN total primary energy supply and reducing energy intensity by 32% in 2025. ASEAN Center for Energy is pleased to support the activities and initiatives under Indonesia's energy priorities and join forces to advance the region in accelerating the energy transition. We wish Indonesia's tenure as ASEAN Chair will be a success, and we look forward to witnessing the continued progress and working together to achieve the shared vision to promote energy connectivity and integration in the ASEAN community. Thank you very much.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you from Paris. It's a pleasure to address you today on the occasion of kickoff meeting of Indonesia's 2023 ASEAN Chairmanship. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my thanks to Minister Tasrif to participate in this important event. Last year, as we all know, as the entire world knows, Indonesia chaired G20 meeting. To be honest with you, I talked with several government leaders around the world, and even though they may have different political views, they may be in different continents, they all agree on one thing. Indonesia did an outstanding job as the chair of G20 last year. So congratulations to Indonesian government for such a successful G20 presidency under extremely difficult geopolitical conditions. And we, as International Energy Agency, we did our best to support Indonesian government, Minister Tasrif on the energy and climate context. As you have suggested, per your request, we developed jointly with you an energy sector roadmap to net zero emissions in Indonesia. And we are proud to say that it underpins the historic Just Energy Transition Partnership Agreement signed in November 2022 at the G20 summit. So many thanks to Minister Tasrif for his confidence in the International Energy Agency. I think following the success of G20 last year, this year Indonesia chairmanship of ASEAN is expected to be another success story. And I think this will be another opportunity of Indonesia, at least on the energy and environmental front, to demonstrate your critical importance, your leadership on many areas. And here, as International Energy Agency, we are once again ready to support you, your government, Minister Tasrif, and all the work you are going to carry out. There are a few areas that we would like to support you in line with our discussions with our colleagues in Jakarta. One of them is maybe the key one is the power trade, regional power trade, especially between Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines. And I would like to here take the opportunity once again congratulate my friend, Mr. Tasrif, for such an effective and rapid process of planning for this year. I know there are many other areas that we are ready to support your efforts in the context of the ASEAN agenda, ranging from efficiency, especially in the buildings, to critical minerals, from electricity security to carbon capture and storage. So we are ready to support you on these areas as well. So, dear colleagues, once again, please accept my best wishes for the chairmanship of 2023 ASEAN. It's a major challenge, but based on your success story of last year of G20, I am sure that it will be another successful chairmanship for ASEAN countries and beyond. And International Energy Agency is again ready to support you in this important endeavor in any way you wish. Thank you very much to all of you, and my best regards from International Energy Agency headquarters in Paris.
Your Excellency, Minister Arifin Tasrif, Excellencies, distinguished guests, having successfully led the G20 presidency, I would like to congratulate Indonesia on their ASEAN chairmanship and express the agency's continued support to the country and the region. Under Indonesia chairmanship, with the theme of ASEAN Matters, epicentrum of growth, Indonesia has sent a clear message in promoting ASEAN strength to its people and indeed the world. The Southeast Asia region will see rapid economic growth in the coming decades and a corresponding increase in energy use. The immediate target of ASEAN chairmanship is to accelerate the energy transition, which will contribute to achieving net zero emissions. We firmly believe that the region will take advantage of its abundant renewable energy resources to lower energy costs, reduce emissions, and drive regional economic sustainable development. The renewable energy outlook for ASEAN towards a regional energy transformation, a joint report between IRENA and the ASEAN Center of Energy, released last year, present a net zero energy path that held economic-wide benefits for the entire region over the next decade. So it will be not an easy transition, but with foresight, ingenuity, and international collaboration, we can make the energy transition achievable, equitable, and inclusive. IRENA will continue to support this chairmanship through the organization of workshops focusing on power sector, decentralized renewable energy solutions for remote islands, as well as high-level dialogue collaborating with ASEAN Center of Energy, which will focus on financial enablers to accelerate the energy transition in the region. I am confident that under Indonesian chairmanship, ASEAN member states will further realize a just and inclusive energy transition. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attention.
His Excellency Arvind Tasrif, Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources of the Republic of Indonesia. I'm Hidetoshi Nishimura, President of the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia area. Area would like to congratulate the government of Indonesia for chairing ASEAN in this year 2023. I felicitate especially the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources for chairing the energy sector. Area is ready and is currently fully engaging in supporting the government of Indonesia to achieve its priority economic deliverables and annual priorities, not only in the energy sector, but also in all other sectors. Last year, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources greatly and strongly chaired the G20 Energy Transition Working Group, and Bali Compact is highly considered an important milestone in the world energy transition process. This year, I hope Indonesia's ASEAN chairmanship in the energy sector would bring the ASEAN region closer to its decarbonization target, while at the same time improving the region's energy security. Once again, please accept my most sincere congratulations for the chairmanship and my assurance of area full support for the government of Indonesia.
Greetings, Your Excellency, Mr. Arifin Tasrif, Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources of the Republic of Indonesia, distinguished guests and participants. My name is Annabelle Brown and I'm the Deputy CEO at the Centre for Policy Development in Australia. I'm delighted to congratulate Indonesia on its appointment as ASEAN Chair 2023 on behalf of the Energy Transition Policy Development Forum, co-founded by the Centre for Policy Development, the Climate Works Centre, the Purnomo Yusantoro Centre, the Institute of Essential Services Reform, the Indonesia Research Institute for Decarbonisation, and the International Institute for Sustainable Development. As Southeast Asia's largest economy and one of the world's most populous countries, Indonesia is well positioned to lead ASEAN in addressing the many challenges that our region faces, especially climate change. As the Indo-Pacific region looks towards accelerating the clean energy transition, it's more important than ever that we foster collaboration among ASEAN nations in pursuit of more effective, sustainable solutions. We commend Indonesia's focus on the long-term challenges and also its commitment to building a more adaptive, responsive and competitive ASEAN. Indonesia's recent G20 presidency has demonstrated the nation's commitment to global leadership and progressing a just energy transition. Now, Indonesia has the rare opportunity to build on the momentum through chairing ASEAN. Together with our partners in the Energy Transition Policy Development Forum, we look forward to supporting Indonesia in its role as ASEAN Chair in 2023, working closely with the Energy Sector Coordinator. As part of this commitment, we plan to hold events on sustainable finance for energy transitions, contribute to the ASEAN long-term renewable energy roadmap, convene the Australia-Indonesia Energy Transition Policy Dialogue and this year's PYC International Energy Conference on best practices in energy transition in ASEAN, and convene a business forum on ASEAN interconnectivity and electricity trading. I'm confident that under Indonesia's leadership, ASEAN will become better prepared to address energy transition challenges, including sustainable energy security and energy access for all. Thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you.
Your Excellency, Minister Arifin Tasrif, distinguished partners, on behalf of UNDP Indonesia, I'd like to congratulate you and your team for today's meeting to kick off Indonesia's ASEAN chairmanship in the energy sector. Today's event marks an important milestone for ASEAN as ASEAN renews its commitment to achieving its plan of action for energy cooperation, and to do this under the able chairmanship of Indonesia that can bring vast experiences in promoting energy security and just energy transition. As an ardent partner of ASEAN and its member countries, including Indonesia, UNDP stands ready to supporting ASEAN's priority for energy transition, as we believe in the value of inclusive dialogue in promoting energy transition, and to do this in a manner that can help promote Indonesia and other countries to achieve their commitment for net zero emissions. Having worked closely for many years with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources here and in Indonesia, we have no doubt that ASEAN will benefit tremendously from the leadership of Indonesia and its chairmanship in ASEAN, especially in the energy sector. Once again, congratulations.
Your Excellency, Minister Arifin Tasrif, as the Director of the Southeast Asia Energy Transition Partnership, I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to you and to Indonesia as the ASEAN Chair for the energy sector in 2023. It's an honor for Southeast Asia Energy Transition Partnership to wish you all the best in fulfilling this role. I also commend Indonesia for its efforts in raising energy transition as a priority for the ASEAN region. As we all know, energy transition is a critical challenge that requires the involvement of all of us. Indonesia will be in a paramount position to further accelerate and enhance the ambition of decarbonizing the ASEAN economies, particularly the energy sectors. ETP partnership brings together the governments of Germany, France, the United Kingdom and Canada with philanthropies such as the Children's Investment Fund Foundation, Sequoia Climate Fund, IKEA Foundation, and others. We fully support Indonesia in its challenge to steer ASEAN energy transition towards strong implementation, performance, and strong results. In closing, I would like to once again extend my congratulations to Indonesia and express ETP's excitement to work towards a more sustainable and resilient ASEAN energy future. Thank you.
Hadirin, acara selanjutnya adalah sambutan dari Menteri Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral. Kepada yang terhormat Bapak Arifin Tasrif, kami silahkan.
Excellency Dr. Bao Kim Horn, Secretary General of ASEAN, yang kami hormati perwakilan tetap anggota ASEAN, Dr. Nuki Agia Utama, Direktur Eksekutif ASEAN Center for Energy, perwakilan organisasi internasional, Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian yang berbahagia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sehat untuk kita semua. Pertama-tama marilah kita panjatkan puji dan syukur kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa karena atas karunia-Nya kita bisa hadir bersama pada pagi hari ini untuk menghadiri kick-off keketuaan Indonesia di ASEAN untuk sektor energi di tahun 2023. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, tahun ini Indonesia memegang keketuaan ASEAN dengan tema ASEAN Matters, Epicentrum of Growth. Dengan 3 pilar, yaitu recovery and rebuilding, digital economy, dan sustainability. Sektor energi menjadi salah satu bagian dari pilar sustainability dengan tema Improving Sustainable Energy Security. Indonesia akan memprioritaskan ketahanan energi yang berkelanjutan melalui pengembangan interkonektivitas pada ASEAN Power Grid dan Trans-ASEAN Gas Pipeline untuk mempercepat proses transisi energi di Asia Tenggara. Kawasan ASEAN memiliki sumber energi baru dan terbarukan yang sangat besar. Menurut catatan, terdapat potensi 17.000 gigawatt untuk dapat dijadikan sebagai modal dalam mencapai target net zero emission dan pemanfaatan energi bersih. Untuk jangka pendek, porsi energi baru terbarukan pada bauran energi ditargetkan akan mencapai 23% dan porsi EBT pada kapasitas pembangkit sebesar 35% di tahun 2025 sesuai ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation. Untuk jangka menengah, Nationally Determined Contributions tahun 2030 sesuai target penurunan emisi gas rumah kaca masing-masing negara ASEAN dan jangka panjangnya mencapai net zero emission di tahun 2050. Kami mendorong seluruh anggota ASEAN untuk mendeklarasikan target net zero emission pada ASEAN Ministers on Energy Meeting ke-41 di bulan Agustus 2023. Komitmen bersama ini akan menjadi dasar roadmap net zero emission ASEAN yang dapat digunakan sebagai rencana aksi transisi energi yang adil, terjangkau, handal, dan berkelanjutan dengan prinsip no one left behind sesuai dengan kondisi ekonomi dan sosial serta prioritas masing-masing negara ASEAN. Hal tersebut dapat dilaksanakan melalui kerjasama dan kolaborasi yang kuat antar negara ASEAN untuk peningkatan pemanfaatan energi baru dan terbarukan secara masif. Pengembangan teknologi bersih, pembangunan rantai pasok regional yang berkelanjutan, serta mempercepat transfer teknologi, pengetahuan, dan keahlian antar negara ASEAN. Namun untuk mencapai target net zero emission, negara ASEAN membutuhkan penyediaan teknologi rendah karbon berkelanjutan yang dapat diakses, serta pembiayaan berbunga rendah dan mudah diakses dari berbagai sumber. Berdasarkan laporan IRENA, ASEAN membutuhkan pembiayaan sebesar $29,4 triliun pada tahun 2050 untuk pelaksanaan transisi energi dengan 100% EBT. Untuk itu, diperlukan dukungan pendanaan dari negara maju dan institusi finansial global seperti Just Energy Transition Partnership dan Asia Zero Emission Community. Mineral kritis juga diperlukan untuk mendukung transisi energi. Memperhatikan beberapa negara ASEAN seperti Indonesia, Filipina, Vietnam, Malaysia, dan Myanmar memiliki potensi mineral antara lain nikel, rare earth element, tembaga, neodymium, timah, maka perlu diupayakan bersama pengembangan industri hilir di kawasan ASEAN. Indonesia menyampaikan apresiasi kepada Sekretariat ASEAN dan seluruh organisasi internasional yang telah dan terus mendukung keketuaan Indonesia dalam kerjasama energi khususnya di ASEAN. Semoga keketuaan Indonesia di ASEAN untuk sektor energi dapat menguatkan sinkronisasi untuk menghasilkan konkret deliverables yang mendukung pertumbuhan ekonomi dan ketahanan energi yang berkelanjutan. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih kepada Bapak Menteri. Bapak Menteri mohon berkenan untuk tetap di tempat. Kepada Bapak Jisman Hutajulu untuk dapat mendampingi Bapak Menteri di depan. Lalu Sekretaris Jenderal Kementerian Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral dan perwakilan dari organisasi internasional untuk turut mendampingi. Kami mohon kepada Bapak Menteri dan Bapak Dirjen Ketenagalistrikan untuk menyentuh layar LED sebagai tanda peluncuran keketuaan ASEAN di sektor energi tahun 2023. Hadirin sekalian, mari kita hitung bersama-sama. 3, 2, 1. Sentuh layar. Tepuk tangan yang meriah atas peluncuran keketuaan ASEAN di sektor energi tahun 2023. Mohon perkenan Bapak untuk berfoto bersama dengan perwakilan dari organisasi internasional. Terima kasih. Demikian kita telah saksikan bersama peluncuran keketuaan ASEAN Sektor Energi tahun 2023. Bapak dan Ibu, kita akan break selama 5 menit sebelum masuk pada sesi diskusi. Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian, setelah break akan ada sesi diskusi yang akan dipandu oleh Ibu Rika. Mohon tetap bersama kita dalam acara peluncuran keketuaan ASEAN Sektor Energi tahun 2023.
Ya, dua lagi. Dua lagi.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami muliakan, acara selanjutnya akan kami mulai. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving on to panel discussion session. I would like to invite the representative of ASEAN Center of Energy to be the moderator of this session, Ibu Rika Sabrina. Ibu Rika, the floor is yours.
A very good morning, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Ramadan Karim for those who celebrate. First of all, I would like to congratulate again Indonesia for the kickoff of ASEAN Energy Chairmanship 2023. It marks a stepping stone for many upcoming initiatives and actions to realize energy priorities of Indonesia this year, especially on power interconnection. My name is Rika Safrina, the Energy Modeling and Policy Planning Officer from the ASEAN Center for Energy. I have the honor for leading today's discussion on how to achieve sustainable energy security through interconnectivity from ASEAN perspective. The discussion aims to be a starting point to continue the development of multilateral power trading in ASEAN, especially for BIMP region, based on the expertise of international organizations. Joining with me now are three outstanding panelists and experts in this topic from various international organizations. Let me call the first panelist is Mr. Chan Dong Phuong. Please, Mr. So Mr. Phuong is a senior policy advisor from Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia, or AREA. Prior to AREA, Mr. Phuong was a director in ASEAN Secretariat, particularly in the Sectoral Development Directorate Department of ASEAN Economic Community. It's supervising 5 divisions, including Food, Agriculture and Forestry Division, Transport Division, Energy and Minerals Division, ICT and Tourism Divisions, Science and Technology Divisions, and Initiative for ASEAN Integration and Narrowing Development Gaps Division. Welcome, Mr. Phuong. Really honored to meeting you here. Allow me to call our second panelist, Mr. Aang Darmawan. Mr. Aang has, yeah. Good morning. Mr. Aang works as the Southeast Asia Energy Transition Partnership, or ETP, Indonesia Country Manager for the United Nations Office for Project Services, or UNOPS. Mr. Aang has 20 years of experience in research and analysis of energy modeling and planning, climate change, finance and investment, social economic development, communication strategy, policy and regulation, as well as project design and implementation. Welcome, Pak Aang. It is very nice to have you here. Last but not least, our third speaker is Mr. Rudy Gobel. Morning. Mr. Rudy is a senior policy advisor at the Center for Policy Development in Australia, as well as the coordinator for the Subsidy Reform Initiative at the Secretariat of the National Team for the Acceleration of Poverty Reduction, or TNP2K. He calls it the Energy Transition Policy Development Forum. Also, he calls it the Australia-Indonesia Energy Transition Policy Dialogue. Welcome, Pak Rudy. So let me start our discussion for today. So related to our topic today about power interconnection. Under the latest ASEAN Energy Blueprint, or we call it Applied Phase 2, ASEAN will enhance its effort towards building an ASEAN power grid by expanding multilateral electricity trading to provide affordable and resilient electricity while accommodating higher shares of RE towards energy transition and a sustainable energy future. This program is supported by many international organizations. So let me ask Mr. Fong first. Could you please share with us regarding areas ongoing support as an international organization on multilateral power trading in ASEAN Power Grid?
Thank you for the introduction. Yes, once again, very good morning to all of you here, to the panelists and all the participants. And I'm Phuong, Senior Policy Advisor of the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia. And I'm very honored to be here with all of you today and to participate in this panel discussion about ASEAN multilateral power trading mission, and of course we or I will introduce to you about area support for this very important area of work in ASEAN energy cooperation. And I have a few slides. I don't know whether it's will be shown. Yes. So just 3 slides only of my presentation. The next slide, please. Areas support for ASEAN multilateral power trading has started quite some time ago, and particularly in 2017 and 2018, we run a project to support the ASEAN and particularly the HAPUA, the head of power and utility agencies of ASEAN countries, and especially our support was to provide technical and advisory services to HAPUA on the structure, the criteria, structures, roles and requirements for the formation of the 2 institutions which are very necessary for advancing the ASEAN power grid, and namely it is the APG generation and transmission system planning institution and the APG transmission system operator institution. And these projects, we conducted 2 studies for these 2 institutions, and the conclusion of the studies was that there are 3 major conclusions. One is that the functions of the ASEAN, the APG generation and transmission system planning and the APG transmission system operator institutions are better to be placed under one organization to ensure close relationship between planning and operation. The second major conclusion or recommendation is that a high-level intergovernmental agreement between ASEAN member states stating the ambition of regional power trading and the need for coordination institution is a necessary starting point. And eventually, more detailed agreements giving the appropriate authority and functions to the organizations will be needed. So that's those are the conclusion or the recommendation from areas 2 studies to support the ASEAN multilateral power trading arrangements, and they are in line with the HAPUA Action Plans 2.1 to implement the APAEC Phase 2 2031 2025, which is to establish intergovernmental coordination and facilitation mechanism to develop its institutional and regulatory capabilities of the APT and APG institutions. Next slide, please. So our studies in 2017, 2018 were published, and you can find them on our website, area website. Following from there, area will continue our support for this very important work of ASEAN in realizing the APG, and especially in advancing multilateral power trading among ASEAN member states. And we will have a project, or we have started already a project to continue this support. And we will conduct a research into the development of I mentioned the high-level intergovernmental agreement to facilitate the implementation of the APG institutions. Then a discussion platform among relevant stakeholders in the ASEAN power sector will be convened to discuss the principles, the framework, and terms of the enabling high-level intergovernmental agreement, and to seek consensus among ASEAN member states representatives. Then a task force team will be formed with the representative experts from the stakeholders in the power sector in order to produce the draft agreement for consideration by the governments. And then international consultation team will be engaged to facilitate the discussion among stakeholders. And it is also responsible for ensuring the quality and consistency of the draft agreement. So the focus of our support will be to develop the intergovernmental government first, yes. And then I think later on we will continue further from there. Next slide, please. And this is about areas support to Indonesia's ASEAN chairmanship in 2023. We have 6 activities to support Indonesia ASEAN chairmanship in this year. You can see on the slide. We would be organizing 6 workshops in collaboration with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources of Indonesia, with the ASEAN Center for Energy, with DEN and other partners on the 6 topics. The first one is preparation for advancing multilateral electricity trading in the APG, which is to support this. I think this is the topic of the day discussion, and then it is one of the priority economic deliverables of the Indonesian chairmanship, ASEAN chairmanship. And this workshop will be organized next week on Wednesday, the 5th of April this year in Jakarta. The second activity, the workshop is for improving energy security in islands and remote grid in ASEAN through utilization of emerging clean energy innovations. The third is on ASEAN bioenergy market potential, and the fourth, conversion of internal combustion engine vehicles to electric vehicles. The fifth is sustainable energy financing and mobilization of energy investments to ensure energy security and achieve the NDCs in ASEAN. And the sixth organization is workshop is advancing CCUS implementation for energy sector in ASEAN. So those will be the activities of area support during this year. Just for your information. That ends my presentation here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Paul. So I noted there are several areas support on ASEAN Power Grid. Uh, the first one is a study on the formation of the transmission system planning to be combined with transmission system operator in one institution. And then the second one is high-level intergovernmental agreement. And the third one is a series of workshops throughout this year. So feel free if you want to join the workshop. The first one is next week, yeah, Pak. Okay. Thank you. Let me move to Mr. Ang. As you know, ACE and Papua are currently leading a work on developing ASEAN Power Grid Roadmap. It is supported by Southeast Asia ETP. The roadmap is planning to plan from study stage until implementation, bringing the aspiration of about 30 gigawatt interconnection into reality. Could you please explain more on how ETP support this roadmap?
Thank you. For the ASEAN Power Grid project, as you mentioned that ETP is working currently with ACE, Papua, and also CASE to provide the roadmap for the ASEAN Power Grid project, which is one of the integration project is the BIMP. For that BIMP project and also for the wider IPGP, ETP will work with ACE, CASE, and also Papua and also UNSCAP to provide the roadmap. And this roadmap will also contain the legal pathway on how those interconnection grid will be prepared by the strong regulation to make it happen. And also the roadmap will also contain the financial framework, meaning that this is not only making a roadmap and then ASEAN country will forget about it, but how our study with ACE also can also provide the information on how this project can be financed, including where is the resources of the finance, as mentioned by Pak Menteri in his opening remark, that Indonesia and ASEAN country need to know to access the low cost finance to support the energy transition. In doing this, we are targeting that this roadmap can be launched during the AMEM, which is in August. And prior to that, we will also conduct series of workshops. And also for the workshop, it also will have the cooperation with IEA, since IEA also will support in other aspect of the APGP. So I think that's all of the activity that we will conduct for, under the APGP project, Marika. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aang. So I noted that ETP support ASEAN Power Grid, especially on BIMP project, including the legal pathway, strong regulation, and financial framework to provide low-cost finance. Yeah. And the roadmap is planned to be launched in AMEM in August this year. Thank you. For Mr. Rudy, still about the international organization support on ASEAN power interconnection. Could you please share what kind of support, perhaps from CPD, on strengthening ASEAN energy security with integrating high share of RE through cross-border electricity trading?
Thank you, Mbak Rika. Good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here to speak in front of my seniors in the energy sector. So my name is Rudy Gobel. I'm the Senior Policy Advisor at the Center for Policy Development in Australia. But this time I speak on behalf of Energy Transitions Policy Development Forum. It's a forum that co-founded by 6 international and national think tanks, the Center for Policy Development, the Climate Work Center, the Purnomo Yusgiantoro Center, the Institute for Essential Service Reform, International Institute for Sustainable Development, and Indonesia Research Institute for Decarbonization. So I'm asked to discuss about the renewable energy development in the support or to support the ASEAN power grid. But before I discuss that, Mbak Rika, please allow me to, to tell a story about, the history of renewable energy development that I believe we all know that better. Back in 2005, President SBY, gave a very strong speech to mention about Indonesia's commitment for the development of renewable energy. And at the time when we discussed about, when he mentioned the renewable energy, basically he mentioned about the development of biofuel. Not long after that, the Minister of Energy at the time implemented a biofuel mandatory program, 2006-2007. Starting with the biodiesel 2.5%, and then the bioethanol is like 1% to 2%. And the history tell, that now the biodiesel fly high. It's now up to B35, and contributed to more than 10 million kiloliter of diesel fuel for Indonesia. It's considered a success. But what happened to the other biofuel, the bioethanol? It never fly. I was working in the one oil and gas company that also committed to develop the infrastructure for the bioethanol project. We focused on the development of the project itself. We were successful in terms of accessing the funds. We were successful in developing the state-of-the-art of technology of converting cassava into high quality bioethanol, something like that. But something that was missing is that we didn't do a proper preparation for the feedstock. The main problem is that we don't have the land, and land acquisition was one of the biggest problems at the time. So as a result, bioethanol didn't fly. We only see the biodiesel, and it is a great achievement, of course, but it is thanks to the availability of the feedstock in palm oil. We already have millions of palm oil plantations at the time. So what I'm trying to say is that the discussions about the development of renewable energy in Indonesia, I think, has to be put in. We are trying to enrich the discussions of the development of renewable energy from two big boxes. The first box, I believe we discussed this already. Mr. Trump discussed about this. Mas Hasan also discussed about that. It's from the project perspective. When we talk about the project perspective, we mostly talk about two things. One is that financing. Pak Menteri just mentioned that we need like 21 trillion US dollar for the development of energy transition. Our friends in the IESR, if we want to focus on the renewable energy for the power sector, our friend in the IESR estimated that we require at least 32 billion US dollar, just for solar alone, to be built until 2030 to ensure that we have the net zero emission in 2050. It's a huge amount of money. But if the demand is there, with some innovations in the financing, I'm not that afraid, about the financing. It's still a huge job, of course, but it's business driven. If we are able to demonstrate to the financial institutions, about the potential of the sector, then I believe it will come anyway. That's one thing. The second thing is that when we talk about project from the project perspective, we mostly talk about the technology. And when we talk about the development of ASEAN Power Grid, then there is a couple of technology-wise discussions. We understand that there is a problem with intermittency, for example, which everyone talk about from the technology sides. From my perspective, that there is a plenty of solutions being discussed, to tackle that problem. One, we discuss about the increasing of storage capacity, for example. We discuss about the smart grid technology, for example. We discuss about the diversity of energy sources, combinations of many sources from solar and some other. We also discuss about the interconnectivity. So that's from the project perspective. Yeah, we discussed this already. Yeah, and then I think it has been put in the highest priority among multilateral, bilateral discussions, including in G20 and now in the ASEAN. But when we look at the other box, Marika, yeah, it's from the non-project aspect, which in our point of view has not been quite discussed widely, not being addressed widely, which is the non-project aspect. Yeah, we always call it like what we call as enabling environment. One is that let's look at the price competitiveness of the renewable energy commodity. Indonesia is one of the countries that heavily subsidize the fossil fuel. So it will hinder the development of the renewable energy because it will never be quite competitive if we keep subsidizing the fossil fuel. So that is why one of the agenda that we also need to put in the highest priority is that the energy subsidy reform. So that is why we hope the Ministry of Energy in doing some reform in energy subsidy. Yeah, one of that is that the successful of the energy electricity subsidy reform back in 2017. Just to give you some figures, in 2017, we were able to take out 18 million ineligible households from the list of electricity subsidy. And the government at the time, yeah, we have the saving more than 21 trillion Indonesia rupiah in 2017. And as a result, yeah, in 2018, yeah, the budget allocations in the state budget for infrastructure and other productive, program like health, education increased significantly. In 2018, that's the very first time the infrastructure budget is more than the budget for the electricity subsidy. Yeah, and in 2018, 2019, we see that there is a huge increasing in terms of the, electrification ratio. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that that's one of the non-project aspects. It's beyond the project that we discuss now, but it has a very close relations to the development of the renewable energy. The second is that we talk about the access to energy. Some studies, some studies mention that, yeah, we are in the stage of transitioning from fossil fuel to renewable energy. But there are plenty of millions of people living in Indonesia and in the regions that still have a lack access to the clean and modern energy, including electricity, LPG, for example, something like that. In the case of Indonesia, for example, yeah, there is still more than 500,000 households have no access to electricity at all. Yeah, around 7.6 million households have no access to the subsidy. Yeah, that could enable them to access the the energy. Yeah. In the other case, not only the electricity, for LPG case, for example, there is more than 12 million households that have no access to the the LPG, for example. So what I'm trying to say is that the transition to renewable energy, yeah, will still keep more people or those kind of people left behind unless we tackle their problem today. So we will have no a proper inclusive transitions unless we are able to make sure that those people who have no access to be included in the access. So that's why I am interested to discuss from a bit different perspective, which is from the policy perspective. So some points that I made that I have put here is that the one is that the proper regulations. So I think, yeah, we need to discuss about the proper regulations, anticipating the new the development of the renewable energy and also the energy transitions in the long term, in the short and long term. The second is that coordination. Yeah, energy sector is not only belong to the energy sector itself. Yeah, especially when we talk about the energy transition, it's a multi-dimensional approach. So coordination is very important. The other thing is that we talk about non-technical aspects. I give you one example. It's a very simple example. Is that the land clearing? When we talk about building a new power plant, yeah, fueled by new renewable energy, for example, solar. If we want to build like, around 550 megawatt, yeah, using coal fire, yeah, we only, it only requires like 200, hectare of land. But if we build a solar power, yeah, solar fuel power plant, yeah, it will require around 1,600 hectare of size of land. So it means 8 times larger size of land. So it means that we need an extra effort to do the land clearing. And in some countries, including Indonesia, when decentralization is very strong, yeah, the land clearing is the responsibility of the local government. We need to discuss with the local people, community, things like that. And it has a big potential, problem that could hinder the development of the infrastructure of the project itself. So that's why, in the discussions, during the ASEAN chairmanship, we expect that we can contribute or enrich discussion from that aspect to enrich the discussions in the project and financing aspect that have been discussed by other international partners. So, in order to do that, yeah, some of the support that we have been outlining is that, one, we would like to contribute as a Energy Transition Policy Development Forum is that we would like to contribute to the, discussions on the sustainable finance. Yeah. We also would like to contribute to the long-term renewable energy, ASEAN long-term renewable energy roadmap. And then we dedicate 2 regular events, yeah, from our partners. One is the Australia-Indonesia policy dialogue in energy transitions to discuss about the best practices in, that relevant for Indonesia as a chairman and ASEAN as a region. And also the Purnomo Yusgiantoro International Energy Conference, which is a biennial event, will be also dedicated, to discuss about the best practices of the, renewable energy development in ASEAN. Yeah. The last one is that we would like to contribute, to discuss with business and investor, especially to minimize the gap. Yeah, because it is good to know that we already have the frame. In G20, we just launched the Energy Transition County Platform. Now we have the JETP. We also have, a lot of bilateral, multilateral, support from other countries to Indonesia and also the region. Yeah, but here and there we can still there is a huge gap between those framework and then what happens on the field. Yeah, we have to acknowledge that here and there are some investors rise a problem, yeah, about their operations in Indonesia and in the region. So what I'm trying to say is that one of the agenda that we need to push is that how we can minimize the gap between what happens on the framework, what happens on the paper, what happens on the discussions, intergovernment discussion, and then what happened on the field. Yeah. So that's one of the thing, a couple of things that we would like to support. And then the last one is that we would like to recommend a couple of points that might be worth to be discussed in the during the ASEAN chairmanship. One is that together with the member states of ASEAN to discuss about the identifying and assessment of existing regulations and learn from one another. Yeah, how to improve that or to anticipate about the change, in the, in the development of or in the energy transitions. Yeah. The second is that it requires, or we would like to contribute to the establishment of, a stronger coordination mechanism at all levels. Yeah. How to make the a stronger, coordinations. Yeah. Among all of the things, all of the framework that have been there. Yeah. The other thing is that we would like to propose to, to start to pick a showcase project. Yeah. So there is a plenty of projects out there. Yeah. From Indonesian side and in the regions. So I think, picking up one, two, or several, showcase project, that will be good to give a lessons learned for everyone, to address the development of renewable energy and also the power grid of ASEAN in multiple aspects that can be replicated, also improved, along the way through the achievement of net zero emission. And last one is that we need to expand the horizon, of energy transitions and power, ASEAN power integrations, by involving social aspects, the just energy transitions. We have to, we cannot just take it we cannot just take it for granted. It's called just energy transitions, but the inclusive things in the just energy transition needs to be addressed. I give you one simple example. Again, transitioning to renewable, meaning that we need to, kill, we start to stop the coal industry, for example. And you know that there is 150,000, formal employees in coal industries, not to mention their dependents, the wife, the kids, not to mention about, the people who work along the supply chain. I quote this from Yudo, along the supply chain. So we will, those who work as a courier, for example, those who work, in the Tongkang service, something like that, And for the province, in Kalimantan, like in the southeast, South Kalimantan, Central Kalimantan, the dependency on coal is like 30% or 40% of their total regional domestic brutto. So it means that, if we don't take it quite seriously from now, there is a problem of, social welfare there. So to conclude my statement is that the energy transitions, the power grid development is not just about economic transformations. It's also about social transformations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rudi. So it is very interesting that you touch on the holistic approach in seeing the not only power interconnection to solve the one of RE the barriers for RE development, but also another kind of issues that we need to consider, such as feedstock and lands availability, and also the subsidies reform towards better infrastructures and RE deployment. So, and I noted also the supports, potential supports from the Energy Transition Policy Development Forum in the discussion for providing sustainable finance, and also about RE long-term roadmaps. That is something that also ACE is working on, so we can work together on that. And also to bridge on the business and investors, I think we will also have an event during AMEM, which is called IBF, as an Energy Business Forum. So I think that can be one of the channels for you to support in that. Thank you. Next, I would like to pass to Mr. Aang. So today's kickoff event will commence several ASEAN event series to achieve a consensus among AMS in the realization of two joint declaration or statements. The first one is ASEAN Ministers' Joint Declaration on Sustainable Energy Security through Interconnectivity. And the second one is BIMP Ministers' Joint Statement of the Power Integration Project. May I ask what kind of ASEAN event series that have been prepared by ETP in order to achieve this goal? And what do you think the challenge in, gathering the 4 countries in BIMP region to work together in ASEAN Power Grid?
Thank you, Barika. So I add my information regarding another event that ETP will conduct under this SOMEM meeting, that we're also working with the ETP countries focusing in Indonesia, Vietnam, and Philippines. We have the regional activity, which is what we call as the development of competitive arrangement of energy transition. So it will allow the discussion how the ASEAN countries, mainly in Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, can set up the power purchase from the renewable energy electricity price. So it will bring the best practices, also best reference around the globe, and how this country in ASEAN can develop the electricity price to better capture the best technology that available in the country. We also work in Indonesia, but it can also be become the context in wider ASEAN to develop the wind power development investment roadmap in Indonesia. So we intend to bring the ASEAN country to learn from Indonesia in terms of the development of the onshore wind. But we also will bring the expertise or the experience from another ASEAN country, which is Vietnam and Philippines, how those countries can develop their offshore wind in Indonesia. So based on this activity, we hope that it will create greater access, especially in the eastern part of Indonesia, of the renewable energy electricity. Another activity that we also want to conduct under the ASEAN presidency in the next sector is the battery energy storage system. So we have ETP have helped the Philippine government in setting up the battery energy storage system mechanism, which is to put the standard on how the IPP or the developer of electricity in Philippines can meet the standard from the government. If we bring the standard, the experience from the Philippines to Indonesia, it also will help the Indonesian government if Indonesia want also to develop the battery energy storage mechanism. One of our projects in Indonesia is the PLN Jamali Control Center. We provide the support to upgrade the technology of the control center. And based on that activity, we also want to bring ASEAN country to Indonesia on how the Indonesia can develop the smart grid based on the upgrading of the control center. And regarding your question on how ETP can also help the BIMP project, so one of our current project in Philippines is helping the Mindanao region in developing their power plan, uh, the roadmap of the power plant in Mindanao region. So ETP can use that as the anchor on how it can be connected to the BIMP integrated grid. So I think those are the example on how ETP can support the ASEAN Indonesia presidency in energy sector. Thank you, Marika.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Rao. So I noted several ETP support in this year's ASEAN chairmanship, including power purchase best practice to develop regional electricity price, also about onshore wind power development roadmap in Indonesia by having best practice from other ASEAN countries such as Vietnam and Philippines, and then about battery energy storage and smart grids. Maybe due to limited time, I would like to open maybe one or two questions from the floor, from the audience here. If you have any questions to one or any of the panelists here. Ya, Pak. Silakan.
Thank you very much. I read the theme of this today event is sustainable energy security through interconnectivity. So I would like to ask the panelists when, where, and how the said interconnectivity will be implemented. Thank you.
Thank you.
How?
Yeah, when and how, and yeah, how the interconnectivity can be successfully implemented. Would you like to answer? Yeah, please, Mr. Paul.
Okay, thank you for the question. When we are talking about interconnectivity in the energy sector, one has to think of quite a few things, many things. One of the things is we are talking about here interconnectivity in the power sector or multilateral power trading. So it's one of the mega projects of ASEAN Energy Cooperation is to realize ASEAN Power Grid, and we started that mega project quite a long time ago. As I remember, maybe 20 years ago already, that we have a memorandum on cooperation in realizing ASEAN Power Grid, connecting or creating a power grid, connecting all ASEAN member states. And that's a very ambitious target, very ambitious project, and it requires a lot of efforts, resources, and time to realize. And so far, as you can see, it can be achieved only on an incremental basis. We cannot build the region-wide grid at once or at the same time. Or yes, so we have to build it gradually, starting maybe by connecting or by bilateral connectivity between ASEAN member states. Like we have started, we have seen cooperation between here in Indonesia with Malaysia, for example, or Brunei with Malaysia, and then on the mainland, Vietnam with Laos or Cambodia, or with Thailand. So it is incremental basis that we can achieve that interconnectivity in the power sector. Another area that could be discussed about is in the gas market. Another mega project of ASEAN is the Trans-ASEAN gas pipeline. And it is also a very ambitious plan or project that can be realized only over time, gradually, on an incremental basis. And given the challenges in the gas supply and also building the pipelines, now the focus is more on LNG market, and how ASEAN member states can cooperate in that area, in cooperating, sharing information, and collaborate in building the LNG terminal, for example, and then to share how to transport the LNG from one to another country.
Thank you.
So yeah. So yeah, when we talk about interconnectivity in the energy sector, it's a lot. It's you can talk many things. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe Mr. Aang, I would like to add, and perhaps also your closing statements and way forward for post Indonesia chairmanship.
Okay, thank you. So if the question is where, when, and how, so where is actually already explained that currently Indonesia will focus on the Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines interconnection. We have the current grid interconnection, which is the Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore. So I think with that focus, we will try our best in how the international support can help Indonesia to implement or to make it happen of the BIMP connection. And when so our study target that the implementation of the interconnection between Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines is can be conducted gradually. So the first target, maybe it will be conducted by 2025, and the longer term maybe can be conducted by 2030. And how, as I mentioned earlier, that our study will not only develop the roadmap, but also will provide a kind of legal pathway on how this country can prepare the required agreements or regulation to establish the multilateral power trading agreement. And don't forget, if we already have the regulation, but how it can be financed. So the study of APGP that will be conducted by ETP, ACE, CASE, and UNESCO will also provide the financial framework, meaning that we will show to these countries how you can access the low-cost finance and what kind of financing mechanism available for implement that integration project. So with that answer, I think my closing statement that will be ETP is ready to support the ASEAN Indonesia presidency to implement the integration of the BIMP. Thank you, Marika.
Thank you, Mr. Aang. And finally, Mr. Rudy, you want to add and perhaps your closing statement as well.
Thank you, Mbak Rika. I would like to contribute to the how. When we talk about, when is it going to happen, or where is it going to happen? What we think in our mind is that it is the expansion of the interconnectivity. When can we see that, the interconnection happens between Indonesia and Singapore, for example, things like that, on other part of the regions. But we have to bear in our mind, there are a few of conditionalities that we have to do, as part of the home before we can come to that stage. One is that the regional interconnective plan itself. We have that already, but it's a living document. So it is now the chance for us to contribute, to shape that, especially in terms of the energy needs, the energy potential, of course, from the renewable development. Every country in the regions have different endowment in terms of the renewable energy sources. The assessment of the existing infrastructure, for example, and also the regulatory framework. That's one thing. The second thing is that, we talk about the framework of the regulator, because it's masing-masing negara is a country yang berdaulat. We have our own law, we have our own regulatory framework. So discussions about cross-border tariff, for example, discussions about the market rules, discussions about regulatory oversight, something like that. We need to make it even sharper than before. And of course, then we can talk about the cross-border corporations. Then for me, I think if we can conclude that, then it is not that difficult, to talk about the expansion of the infrastructure of the power grid itself, either for the high voltage in transmissions or the interconnection points. So that's my additional comment. And for the conclusion remarks, I would like to say that this is a rare opportunity for Indonesia. We have to keep the momentum from the G20. Undeniably, Patih Biro mentioned that all around the world give applause to Indonesia for the success of G20. And we also have to admit that, under the leadership of, Minister Arifin Tasrif, the energy transitions working group in G20 produced a significant outcome, which become the legacy, for the next G20 and also for the development, energy transitions in the region. We already set a highest bar, and then the momentum is there. So capitalizing that momentum to continue the discussions in the context of ASEAN, would be worth to do. So Indonesia is in the positions, to take a lead, to give example to the region, and because we heavily use renewable energy. We are the biggest producer of, we are one of the biggest producers of coal, one of the biggest consumers of coal. If we can do that here in Indonesia, we can do that anywhere in the region. So we expect that, some of that discussions, can contribute during the Chairmanship of Indonesia. And then adding that or enriching that discussions, we also have to complete the portrait of the energy transitions overall, and also the power grid interconnection in ASEAN. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's give a warm applause for all our panelists. And thank you for the audience on your active participation. With that, it ends the panel session today. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Ibu and all the panelists for the fruitful discussion. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Head of Communication, Public Information Services and Cooperation to deliver the closing remarks. Bapak Agung Pribadi, the floor is yours.
Selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. I'm Senior Advisor to the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, expert staff to the Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources, representative of Asian Center for Energy, dialogue partners and international organization. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to everyone for attending today's Asian Kickoff meeting and panel discussion. I'm delighted to be here with you all as we begin our chairmanship in the energy sector in ASEAN. We have tremendous responsibility to carry ahead, but we do believe with each and everyone's support, we will make this tenure a successful one. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is always an honor for Indonesia to host and chair Asian energy sector, which sequences every 10 years. Today's kickoff, it's not only an inaugurating event, but also a starting point which we must begin working on the best strategies and effort to attain our deliverables in the energy sector. This is a reminder to everyone that we strive to aim for the best possible result during our chairmanship to realize energy security in the region. On behalf of Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, I would like to appreciate the international organization and the dialogue partner that has shown and demonstrated their generous support in today's kickoff. And we are looking forward to cooperate in the upcoming event series that will complement the SOME and AMEM. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let me echo that we will have a massive responsibility ahead in making our vision into reality. Thus, I would like to also encourage all the stakeholders to work hand in hand in making this chairmanship fruitful. Thank you very much. So good luck and congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Makasih MC.
Thank you, Bapak Agung. As we are heading towards to the end of the event, I would like to extend my gratitude and appreciation for your participation in the opening ceremony of 2023 ASEAN Energy Chairmanship. Thank you and see you in ASEAN SOME 41, AMEM 41, and the other side event planning. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Stay healthy and stay safe.